I think we can all agree that there's no better weekend plans than just snuggling up with a book. And it has been too long. Too long. There is literal visible dust on my Kindle right now. I felt like at the beginning of the year, for some reason, every weekend I was just sitting reading all weekend, and it was the best. And then somewhere along the way, we like stopped doing that. And then these last few weeks, I got a promotion at work, whoop whoop, and I just have not been like reading much even after work. I've been working quite late, to be honest, most days, so I just have not been reading, or if I have, it's been picking up a book a little bit. So this weekend I'm fully allowing myself to just read as much as I want. I have like small little bits that I want to get done besides reading, but really not a ton, so I'm just gonna do those sprinkled throughout the next 2 days. But yeah, we're just gonna read and see how much reading we get done. I was also motivated to do this because I got 4 Libby holds all within the last week, and I was like, oh my gosh, okay. The Martha's Vineyard Beach and Book Club, which I also have a physical copy of, and then Emily Wild's Encyclopedia of Fairies, The Lost Book of First Loves, and then Sounds Like Love. So we have 4 we can pick from. This morning I finished the Hazelbourne Ladies Motorcycle and Flying Club. I had about 100 pages of this left that I read this morning. I think I'd read another 150 last night. So this was one of those books that I was just reading a tiny bit, like over many days, so I was very happy to finally get to sit and finish this. So I ended up rating this a 4-star, and it's based on after the World War II in England, how because a lot of the men went off to fight, then the women obviously had to step up into their respective jobs once they'd left, and then when all the men came back, it was then kind of just like, okay, women, you can go back to like just being a housewife or being a mom, and then not working in those jobs anymore. The main characters in it had started a motorcycle club, and as a way to try and like help find jobs for these women. It was like a motorcycle club that would taxi around women only and only hire women. It's described as an unforgettable coming of age story, a tender romance, and a portrait of a nation on the brink of change. And yeah, I really liked it. I loved the cover. It was just like really nostalgic to me. And then the woman's name was actually Constance, and she went by Connie, and that's what my nan's name is, who also lived through World War II. So just those parallels also made the book, I think, like extra special to me. But yeah, I really liked that. So it feels good to already finish a book this morning. So I think the first book we are gonna read is the Martha's Vineyard Beach and Book Club. It is very similar to that last one I read, but it goes between 2016 and then 1942. And it says, in a spectacular novel inspired by true events, 2 sisters living on Martha's Vineyard during World War II find hope in the power of storytelling when they start a wartime book club. Fresh. So I think, yeah, even though it is very similar to that, it's short, it's only 300 pages. I think while I'm in that kind of like historical mindset, we can just read another one. I'm actually so pale and crazy. Anyways, we're gonna make a little chai at home. If you didn't know, you can get this like chai concentrate, and it's the exact same as the Starbucks one, so you can make your own at home. And then they now have this oat cold foam, which is like a cinnamon caramel flavor. So stinking good. So we're gonna make that while I chit chat about the book. I'm up to 16%, so still definitely getting into it. Yeah, I haven't gone as far as I thought I would have at this point in the day. It's like 3:43. Like, still got plenty of time. I didn't realize until like it had different names at the beginning of the chapters, and like obviously I knew that would then correlate to the character that the chapter was about, but I just kept like not paying attention to that. So I then did have to go back and read a chapter because I was like, wait, whose POV was that in? And then now I'm following, like, but that was funny for a second. For You page is becoming more and more just like people getting so excited for fall, and I am so there. I hate fall because it doesn't get fall in Florida at all, so I'm just like so jealous of everybody else that will experience fall. So I'm definitely gonna need to do some trips and stuff like that, but that's just making like, I wish it was like raining today and I could get all snuggly up in my book. It's definitely making me feel cozy either way. The book's cute. I'm not like, oh my gosh, can't put it down, but I'm curious to see like where it's gonna go because it feels pretty straightforward. So I'm like interested to see if there is any plot twists, or I don't know, just like, or if it's just gonna be what I'm expecting. But yeah. are chugging our way through this book. I'm at 73% and it's going good. It's definitely different than the last book I read, so even though they're both like historical wartime books, this is set like right at the beginning in America, like on Martha's Vineyard. Anyways, I'm so tired though, so I am kind of like falling asleep reading, but like it's good. There's a bit of like some like mystery elements in a way, like there's a spy, you don't know who it is, and they're trying to figure some stuff out. There's a bit of like suspense, but yeah, who knows what's gonna happen. So I'm having a good time reading it. I'm liking it. I'm not like, oh my gosh, best book in the whole entire world, but like it's gripped me enough. It's interesting enough, you know? We have now finished the second book of the weekend. Finished Martha's Vineyard, and it was cute. There was, I'm not gonna like spoil the ending obviously at all, but there was like a little bit of sadness still in me at the end, so that was a little like, oh, like it was, there was parts I loved about the ending, but then I was also parts I was like, oh, so yeah. Do with that what you will. Overall, I rated it a 4-star. I think it was good. If you like these type of historical fiction books, I think you would like it. It was very atmospheric, which was nice. And then there are some books, like if you've read like Kristen Hanna's like The Nightingale and stuff, where the storylines is like very sad and very like detailed, I think, on like how terrible life was back then, whereas this wasn't a super heavy read, which like I don't want to say was nice, because like obviously that time period is just like crazy in history, but obviously you don't always want to read about like the worst parts of it when you're also then just learning about the different types of experiences that happened during the wars. So yeah, I liked that it did give a different perspective that wasn't as heavy. So like I read it all in a day and I wasn't left like feeling super upset or anything like that. Like I was like, there were definitely sad parts. I liked that all the characters were quite different and had different personalities, even though they were all in the same family. Yeah, they just had different personalities, and I feel like made this story interesting. So yeah, overall I really liked it. I think it was good. I think I'm gonna read Sounds Like Love next, because I think I just want like a chill romance, because I think Encyclopedia of Fairies and then that last book of First Loves, I don't think either of those like are really romances. I think they're more like fiction. So yeah, Sounds Like Love I think will be a good fun one to go into next. It's like 9:13. I will probably read a little bit more right now. I have heard mixed things about this one, so I'm not like, oh my gosh, can't wait to read it. I've heard it was a little cringe. I watched Destiny's video recently and she read it and had that feeling, said it was a little cringe, so I'm curious to see how I feel about that. Perfect. We've got Sounds Like Love up and ready to go. It's now Sunday and we are up to 39% in It Sounds Like Love. Is that what it's called? Sounds Like Love. And guys, oh my gosh, I'm obsessed. It's actually so cutie. So it's about this girl who is a songwriter and she lives in LA, and then she has to come back to her hometown, which is like a beach town in North Carolina, for the summer, because her mom is getting early onset dementia, so they want to have like one last good like summer. Well, she still like remembers things, which is really sad, but she's come back and she's kind of been in like a writing slump since like finding out the news about her mom. And then she meets this famous singer at a concert, like straight away in the book, and then they end up kissing, which there was a kiss cam, which was so funny to read, because I don't think I've ever read a kiss cam in a book. And then when I'm filming this is the week that all the Coldplay like cam thing came out, so that was just funny timing. She ends up all of a sudden hearing a voice in her head, this like guy's voice, and she doesn't know who it is at first. I mean, I think you can you can figure it out pretty easily. It's kind of obvious who you think it's gonna be, but now, yeah, they don't know why they can hear each other's voices in their head, because it like works both ways. And then they actually just met in person as well, and yeah, it's really cute. The banter and just like their chemistry is like immediately like really cute. And then I feel like, because I just was in a like small beach town when we were in Charleston, I can like picture it really well. There's a music venue in the small town that their like family have run for a couple generations, and I think they're gonna close down this summer. I'm guessing they probably won't, but So it's just like, yeah, very atmospheric. Like the last one, I can really like picture myself in the world, which is really cute, and it's just a nice like chill read. I'm flying through it, already up to 39%. LOL, his little wing sticking out. Guys, I finished Sounds Like Love, or whatever it's called, on Sunday night. I was not expecting to. I was like, I'm gonna read for like 15 minutes before bed. Next thing I know, couldn't put it down. 2 hours gone by and I'd finished the book. Oh, 5 stars. 5 stars. There was, okay, now I've decided I'm just doing my ratings like on vibes. Like, it was a fun time to read. Like, it was so much fun to read. So I'm rating it 5 stars. Is it like the most literary, fictional, that's not even right. What am I trying to say? Is it like the best book in the whole world? No. Like, I always felt like if I give it 5 stars, it has to be like the best book in the world. But like, that's not how this works. I had literally the best time reading it. So I'm rating it 5 stars. It was so atmospheric, as I'd said. Like, the banter between the two main characters was great, but like in a, not even like in a funny, like One Golden Summer, I don't know, that banter, like it's just different banter, but it was still like banter nonetheless. And like, or chemistry, I guess is the best word. And they were both like doing things for each other. The fact that they could hear each other's like thoughts and whether they wanted to or not meant that obviously they knew things about each other. So like little stuff, like they would buy each other, like they bought each other a sandwich because they knew they could hear the one person wanted a sandwich, and then the one person got my coffee because they could just hear the obviously the thoughts they wanted one. So cute and fresh. I was also shocked of how like, I guess, invested I got without even realizing it, because then we got to like some sad parts in the book and between like the two main characters, and like they were going through something and I was then like feeling sadness for them. So then they were having like a hard conversation about like the future, which they'd kind of been like, they should have had this conversation like at the beginning of the book, but obviously, like, you know, it takes a while to bring up the courage to chit chat about that. And then I was sobbing. That was, I was also like, okay, 5 stars, because like I'm invested in this for sure. And it's not like I even have like a personal like connection to that like storyline or nothing. I don't know, it was just like really, it was a well-written scene that you really like connected to. So yeah, I was bawling like a baby. I literally was thinking while crying like, oh my gosh, I wish I was filming right now. Or it was like, I'm pitch black in my room with just my Kindle light on, so I was like, I couldn't even film. Also, I'm sobbing, so it was like absolutely ridiculous. And then I'm gonna keep this vlog going for a bit longer because I still have a couple books on Libby to read. So we read, what was it, 2 out of the 4 or something like that though. I think 5. I don't know how many. I don't know where I found this. I talked to you guys about 4. I ended up getting a 5th one, which was The 5-Star Weekend by Ellen Hildebrand, because I have it physically, and that's such a weird way to say it. I have the physical book, and that just feels like a book that I want to read in the summer, and the fall is coming. I am ready for it to be fall already, so I'm like, I need to get my summer books done now. So I added that to Libby, thinking it wouldn't come available. No, it came available like literally within like 12 hours of me requesting it. So I was like, okay, great. So we have started now with 5, read 2, so now we have 3 Libby books left. This, the 5-Star Weekend, and then the Encyclopedia, and then The Lost Loves, whatever. So I wasn't feeling either of the other 2. I don't know, maybe I'll get to them this week. I think I'm more likely to get to The Lost Loves than the Encyclopedia, because that one is actually part of a series, which like isn't the end of the world, but it also does give me like cozy vibes anyway. So I'm like, I could definitely like keep that for like the fall, or you know, the closer we get to the cozy seasons. So whereas like this one and I think The Lost Loves, like I'd rather just do those sooner rather than later. So we went with 5-Star Weekend for this next one, and I'm only up to 7%. I just read it for a little bit last night before going to bed, but it was good. I'm liking it so far. I think from the storyline so far of the 7%, we are introduced to our main female character, and she is a wife and a mom who grew up on Nantucket and then like got rich, moved away, ended up having a summer house on Nantucket, and then just like, you know, comes back for the summer kind of thing. And then her husband unexpectedly dies in a car crash, and then her daughter is like being really rude to her because, you know, she's like dealing with grief her own way, but then by being rude to her mother. So then the mom ends up coming back to Nantucket think for like the summer or something. And then because I'm guessing from the title, or no, I've also read on the back that I think she then invites 5 of her friends from different periods of her life back to Nantucket for the weekend, I'm guessing. I don't know why, maybe just like make her feel better. I haven't got that far yet, but that's what I do remember from like reading a little bit of the summary and then obviously what we've read so far. So yeah, I love her books. Which is so funny because I read The Hotel Nantucket and it took me a bit to get into it, but once I was into it I was like, oh, this is great. But the first time I started to read it, I DNF'd it, so crazy. So yeah, I'm gonna read this. I'm excited. I'm excited that I've discovered Ellen and that I do actually like her writing, because now like every summer I can just read a couple of her books and it just like feels like a cute little summer tradition moment now. So she's got so many, so I think that'll be really cute. I'm about to go get ready for bed, but I thought I would update you guys because it's been a couple days. I think it's now Thursday night and I'm still reading the 5-Star Weekend. I'm only up to 21%, which is unfortunate. It says like it takes about as long to read as some of the like previous books I've been reading in this video and stuff, but it just feels so much longer when I'm reading it. And I think, and I noticed this with her Hotel Nantucket book that I read too on the Kindle, and I assume it'd be the same in the physical book. Each chapter just feels quite long. I was like, where is the other chapter? So we have chapter starts here, but then the next chapter starts here. It's like in the middle of a page. So whenever books do that, it just means the book is actually so much longer. And like, yeah, in the middle of a page. Whereas like obviously in other books, this will then like this would then go to the next page, so then there'll be this chunk of space, so it like you end up being able to like read through the pages quicker, because yeah, there's just like endless words on each page. But it does feel like there's just so many words on each page that like you can see like that just feels like a lot of words. And it's not even a case of like, oh, I just need to change my font size, because like this is a good font, that's what I read all of my books on. But it just, there's just so much on the page that I'm like, I get to the end of the page and I'm like, oh my gosh. Like it's such a first world problem, or like just such a small like personal detail of me just being lazy. But I do love when books just have like short chapters, short pages. Like it just makes you fly through the book. You were being introduced to each woman in a different chapter, so you then like kind of having it from like their POV a little and learning about their life, which was good. And I do feel like that's needed for the story, but I was getting like a bit confused already of like who's who, whose POV am I in? Like it's okay. I think last time again it just took me a bit to get into her book, so I think this is the case of it's just taking me a little bit to get into this book again. And I also am just like want to binge a book, so which like in the week I don't always have a ton of time to read. Like I get home now, it's like 8 or something, and I'm getting ready for bed, and then I'm gonna read for a little. So it's like I don't really have a ton of time on the weeknights. So I think it's just a combination of the type of book and type of formatting, plus also just the amount I can read in the week. This isn't the best combo, but whatever. Story wise, it's interesting enough so far. So yeah. Guys, I hate to say it, but I'm fighting the urge to not DNF this book. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me see how far into it I got. Okay, we're up to 62%. And it's rare for me to DNF a book in general, just because I'm like, that's so unsatisfying. I'm just like, I want to at least like finish it and, you know, just be done with it. Especially if I'm over the 50% mark. So like I'm gonna finish this. Oh gosh. And it only has like an hour and 48 minutes left in the book. Like, it's not that long, but oh my gosh, it's so boring. So as I said before, how there was, you were getting intro to each character in their own chapter. And I was struggling with following along who was who, to be quite frank with you. Maybe that's just me issue, I don't know. But then that's kind of kept the vibe throughout the whole thing, is you flip between each person's kind of POV, and even within a chapter you'll hop around, and they're all just so focused. They each have like a problem that's happening in their life, and that's really like, there's no more depth than that problem to that character, and they just keep on going on about it. And so each point line or each POV is like them just thinking about that issue with themselves. And there's not really much, like there's a little bit of crossover between the characters. Like obviously they're all on the weekend together, so like there's a bit of conversation between each other, but it's really not much. Like they are really just focused on themselves, which is like, all right. Like, I don't know, let's have a little bit of like community and communication and chit chat with each other. Like, I don't care about the problems in a way, because like you didn't like meet the characters and then get to know them and then learn about these problems or something like that. So I have no connection to the characters whatsoever, so then it's like obviously hard to like really like connect and care about their issues that much, because I'm also just not liking them as characters in general, so it's hard to like feel for them. And then I've also just noticed that I don't love when you start a book with like a partner or a spouse or something like that having recently died, or they died right at the beginning, and then there's just a bunch of them flashbacks throughout the book, because in my mind I'm like, I don't care they're dead. I hate to say it, but it'd be different if I like connected with the characters before, had that moment, and then obviously they passed away later in the book, then like I'm really invested and like, oh my gosh, yeah, I want to know about the past. But I just don't care. I just don't care. So that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. So I did end up starting a new book this morning because I woke up early before church and I wanted to read something, but I did not want to read that. So I started the last book of First Loves and already got up to 25%, which is crazy because y'all know I talked about the amount of words on the other book. This is just such a, like, so much nicer of an amount of words on a page. You might not even be able to notice, but it just is. So I was flying through this one this morning. Insofar as good, it's about this girl who just recently, like 6 months ago, lost her dad, and right before he passed away they took a DNA test, and then that came back and it found out that she has a sister, an older sister that she didn't know about, and she ends up going to do a internship at her sister's tech company to like get to meet her, and then within 3 weeks of her doing the internship she's getting fired because she's just like not, you know, hitting the standards that they need. And then as the sister, who doesn't know she's her sister, is firing her because she doesn't say yet, which we also hate. We hate miscommunication. It's not saying it. She actually has a heart attack and then dies, and then so the sister has to then, or the intern slash sister that she doesn't know is her sister, then does CPR on her and saves her. And then like now you're just following them. She was like stay with her in the hospital and it's being like super nice to her, and the boss is like a bit like, why is she being so nice to me? Because she doesn't know she's a sister because she still hasn't told her. And you just know that that conversation's not going to go well when she finally does reveal it, because at this point it's been weeks and she definitely should have just mentioned it like early on. I don't know why. She's like, she wanted to get to know her a bit before saying it, but I'm like, that's just never going to be a good decision. So yeah, like it's like I already know what the third act breakup's gonna be, or like, you know, the third act moment. It just is giving, it's giving like, you know it's gonna come in, but it's okay, like it's all right. But that's where I'm at so far with this one. So I think I do have a bit of an afternoon to chill before I need to go out, so I think I'm just gonna end up finishing the 5-star weekend, because if it said what, I have an hour and 48 minutes, yeah. Yeah, we're finished. You can see we're the 2-star. Hey guys, it's been a couple days. Oh, hey baby, you here? It's Wednesday, I think, and I'm still reading The Lost Loves of whatever the frick I was reading before. Hello. There he is. The snuggums. I'm up to 46% on The Lost Book of Loves, and like it's okay. I think I ended up picking it because it's just like one of the new releases on Libby, but it's like giving me books on it. I don't think so. It's giving me like very predictable, and I just feel like I'm spotting everything from a mile away of how the story is gonna go, so I'm not really like loving it from that point of view. I probably don't have, I mean, it says I've got just under 3 hours left, so like again, I could DNF it and not feel anything of sadness whatsoever. But what I am excited to share is, so this is gonna sound like actually crazy, but I have always wondered if like the Bible was on Kindle Unlimited, because I feel like it should be, and I am a Christian, and like a good practice to do when you're a Christian is to read the Bible, and that's just a habit that I have constantly struggled with throughout my life. I've never been able to consistently read it and have a good schedule with it, and it's actually like
I think about it all the time, and it's like the thing I hate the most about myself, because like it's so easy. I'm reading all the time. Yeah, can't just pick up the Bible. Crazy. But I want to. Like, it's the top of my list of things every year. New Year's resolutions, blah blah blah. It's always up there. So I was like, I love reading on my Kindle naturally. So I was like, I wish the Bible was on here. I looked it up last night, and it is. There's an NIV version on Kindle Unlimited, but then that got me thinking, like, I wonder if there's a devotion on here too, because that would be even better. And because like the Bible, I can look it up on my phone, but a devotion on here would be great, and there was. Part of me is like, do I start the Encyclopedia of Fairies instead? I'm not really feeling. Let me read the first page. It's written in very old, like, English vibes, which I fear is not what I'm feeling right this specific moment. You know, when you just like can't read a sentence easily. I think that's where I'm at. I think that's where I'm at. I hate to say it. What do I want to read? Oh my gosh. I feel like so many people I'm watching are slumping right now. I don't think I'm slumping because I'm like reading a lot. I'm just, these aren't. Well, I guess we're just reading it. I'm just sat here reading it, so.